There are souls who enter your life like morning light filtering through curtains, gentle, transformative, seemingly ordinary yet carrying something ancient within them. They arrive without announcement, without ceremony, yet their presence shifts the very air around you. Some carry wisdom that feels older than their years. Others bring a healing touch that mends wounds you didn't know existed. These encounters are not coincidence. They are orchestrated by an invisible choreography that connects hearts across time and space. In the quiet moments between meeting and parting, these souls leave imprints that reshape who you become. They teach without teaching. They heal without trying. They remind you that some connections transcend explanation, existing in the realm where psychology meets the sacred, where science touches the soul. There is a moment, fleeting yet eternal, when eyes meet across a crowded room and something deeper than sight occurs. A recognition that bypasses the rational mind and speaks directly to something ancient within. You have felt this, perhaps in the gentle gaze of a stranger who somehow understood your unspoken pain. This recognition is not fantasy. It is not the romanticized notion of soulmates that popular culture feeds us. The human brain processes millions of pieces of information in every social encounter. Micro-expressions, body language, vocal tonalities, energy patterns that science is only beginning to understand. Within milliseconds, our unconscious mind makes calculations about safety, compatibility, and potential for connection. There is no calculation, no analysis. Dr. Daniel Siegel's research on interpersonal neurobiology reveals how our nervous systems constantly scan for safety and attunement in others. But teaching souls and healing souls emit a particular quality, a neurological signature of non-judgment, of acceptance, of emotional safety that others unconsciously recognize. You can see it in how children gravitate towards certain adults without explanation, how wounded animals approach specific humans with inexplicable trust. They have walked through their own darkness and emerged not bitter, but compassionate, not closed, but open, not hardened, but somehow both vulnerable and strong. The teaching souls arrive with eyes that have seen beyond surface appearances. They recognize the light in others, even when that light is buried beneath layers of pain and protection. Their presence alone communicates. You are more than your wounds. You are more than your mistakes. The healing souls come with hands that carry memory of mending. Not necessarily physical hands, but an energetic capacity to touch the broken places within others and somehow make them whole. They see past symptoms to the deeper wound, past behavior to the unmet need. This recognition happens in coffee shops and hospital waiting rooms, in chance encounters on trains and brief conversations with checkout clerks. Some dismiss these encounters as coincidence, as projection, as the human tendency to find meaning where none exists. But those who have experienced this recognition know differently. They know it by the way their breathing changes in that person's presence, by the way their shoulders drop. The remarkable thing is that both souls feel it, the recognizer and the recognized. The teacher knows when they are in the presence of a ready student, just as the healer instinctively senses where their touch is needed most. There is no seeking, no searching. This is how souls find each other in a world of billions, not through dating apps or networking events, but through an invisible thread that connects heart to heart, purpose to purpose, healing to wound. The recognition happens first. Everything else, the teaching, the healing, the transformation, follows. Long before the first conscious memory forms, the soul begins its quiet apprenticeship in understanding human pain. Some children are born with an inexplicable sensitivity to the emotions of others, feeling their mother's unexpressed sadness, their father's hidden fears, their siblings' unspoken loneliness. The child who becomes a teacher often grows up as the family translator, the one who explains why daddy is quiet today, why mommy cries in the bathroom, why grandpa's hands shake when he speaks of the war. They develop an early gift for seeing beneath surfaces, for understanding the stories that live behind people's eyes. The child destined to heal carries a different burden. They are the ones who rush to comfort crying playmates, who bring injured birds home from school, who somehow know exactly what to say when their friends' parents divorce. But this early blueprint comes with a price. These sensitive souls often grow up feeling responsible for others' emotional states, carrying guilt that doesn't belong to them, developing nervous systems that are perpetually vigilant for signs of distress in others. Psychologist Dr. Elaine Aron's research on highly sensitive people reveals that approximately 20% of the population carries this neurobiological trait. Deeper processing of sensory information, heightened emotional responsiveness, and increased awareness of subtleties in their environment. The family dynamics that create these souls are often marked by emotional unavailability, addiction, mental illness, or trauma. The child learns to become hyper-attuned to the emotional climate of their environment as a survival strategy. This early training, though often painful, becomes the foundation for their future gifts. The child who learned to read their alcoholic father's mood before he walked through the door grows up with an uncanny ability to sense when someone needs support. There is often a particular wound that serves as the initiation, a moment of profound helplessness where they couldn't save someone they loved, couldn't heal what was broken, couldn't prevent the pain that seemed inevitable. The teaching souls often emerge from families where their authentic self was never truly seen or celebrated. They grow up with a deep hunger to be understood and, in turn, develop an exceptional capacity to understand others. The healing souls frequently come from lineages of wounded healers, generations of women who carried everyone else's pain, men who stuffed their emotions until they exploded, ancestors who bore suffering in silence. This is the paradox of their origin. Their greatest wounds become their greatest gifts. The very experiences that could have broken them instead became the forge where their capacity for compassion was refined. The child who felt too much grows up to help others feel safe to feel. But the blueprint is not destiny. Not every sensitive child becomes a conscious teacher or healer. Some become overwhelmed by their sensitivity and shut down. Others become so focused on others' needs that they lose themselves entirely. The most powerful teaching and healing souls are those who have done their own deep healing work, who have learned to separate their emotions from others, who have transformed their childhood survival strategies into conscious choices. They carry their sensitivity not as a burden, but as a sacred responsibility, understanding that their ability to feel deeply is not a weakness, but a profound strength that the world desperately needs. Beneath the poetry of soul recognition lies a symphony of neural activity. Billions of neurons firing in patterns that create the mysterious experience of profound human connection. When you meet a teaching soul or healing soul, your brain doesn't simply process another face in the crowd. Mirror neurons fire in rapid succession, creating an unconscious mimicry of emotional states. But with these special souls, the mirroring goes beyond surface-level empathy. Dr. Marco Iacoboni's research reveals that mirror neurons don't just copy actions. They copy intentions, emotions, and even the quality of presence itself. This is why certain people feel immediately safe, why your breathing naturally slows in their presence, why the constant chatter of anxious thoughts suddenly quiets. Your amygdala, that ancient alarm system constantly scanning for threat, recognizes something in their neural signature that signals profound safety. Not just physical safety, but emotional and spiritual safety. Their prefrontal cortex, the center of conscious awareness, maintains strong connections to their limbic system, the seat of emotion. This integration means they can feel deeply while thinking clearly, can access emotion without being overwhelmed by it. When they speak, their words carry the full spectrum of human experience, creating what researcher Dr. The Healing Souls demonstrate fascinating patterns in brain imaging studies. Their anterior cingulate cortex, the brain region associated with empathy and emotional regulation, shows heightened activity without the corresponding stress markers typically seen in highly empathetic individuals. But perhaps the most remarkable discovery is the phenomenon of interpersonal neuroplasticity, the brain's ability to literally rewire itself through meaningful relationships. When someone spends time with a teaching or healing soul, their own neural patterns begin to shift. New neural pathways form. Old trauma responses soften. This is why a single conversation with the right person can change everything. Why one moment of being truly seen can heal years of feeling invisible. The teaching or healing soul's regulated nervous system sends subtle signals through micro-expressions, vocal tone, and even electromagnetic fields generated by heart rhythm patterns. In this state of neural receptivity, the prefrontal cortex comes online more fully. The person becomes capable of learning, growing, and integrating new information in ways that simply aren't possible when the nervous system is in defensive mode. The teaching souls understand intuitively what neuroscience confirms. Information alone doesn't change people. The brain must feel safe before it can grow. They create what researcher Dr. The Healing Souls work with what might be called therapeutic presence, a quality that activates the brain's natural healing mechanisms. Their regulated nervous systems help dysregulated systems find their way back to balance. Recent research on attachment and trauma reveals that our earliest relationships literally shape the architecture of our developing brain. But the remarkable discovery is that this neuroplasticity continues throughout life. This is the scientific foundation of soul recognition. Our nervous systems are constantly scanning for opportunities to heal, grow, and become more integrated. When we encounter someone whose presence offers these possibilities, every cell in our body recognizes the gift. Neural networks that have been dormant suddenly activate. Regions of the brain that have been disconnected begin to communicate. The miracle is not that such connections exist, but that they are happening all around us, constantly available to those with the neural integration to offer them, and the openness to receive them. Teaching and healing souls are not supernatural beings. They are humans who have learned to use their neurobiology in service of love. And in doing so, they remind every nervous system they encounter of its own unlimited capacity for transformation.